Schoenberg devised his method of composing with 12 tones in the early 1920s, roughly 100 years ago. Since then, his fourth string quartet has attracted a lot of analytical attention as an example of his mature 12-tone style. Milton Babbitt is best known as a composer, a leading figure in American post-war 12-tone composition. Babbitt was also an extremely important theorist and analyst of 12-tone music, and he lavished special attention on the slow movement, the third movement, of Schoenberg's fourth quartet. What follows in this video is Babbitt's analysis of Schoenberg's music. Here's the passage we'll be talking about. There are two series forms involved, plus their retrogrades. P0 has two hexachords, labeled H1 and H2. In I5, the two hexachords are reversed. Now H2 comes first. In Schoenberg's mature 12-tone music, Schoenberg always combines two series forms related in this way. Babbitt calls it IH combinatoriality. In the music, all four instruments present P0 in unison. Then, in measure 5, the retrograde of I5 is presented first in small fragments, then in a melody in the first violin. Then comes the retrograde of P0, similarly first in fragments, then in a melody in the first violin. The passage then ends with a new pair of series forms, I2 and P9. Like P0 and I5, this pair also has swapped hexachords. That is, they are also inversionally combinatorial. Unison statement of P0 ends. RI5 begins, dispersed among the instruments. H2 in the first violin. The retrograde of P0. Two new series forms. Babbitt is fully aware of these basic 12-tone issues, of course, but he spends most of his analytical energy on small-scale motivic connections. He starts out with what he calls cross-association of ordered adjacencies. The first two notes of the piece are C and B. As the unison melody continues, G flat and F are heard in alternation. In the answering phrase, the roles are reversed. Now it's the CB that gets repeated, and the G flat F is heard a single time at the end to create what Babbitt calls the closure of a structural unit. The piece begins with two notes, C and B. The top of the melody, G flat and F alternate. Within RI5, C and B now alternate. And at the end of the phrase, G flat F. Here is a relationship Babbitt calls delinearization. The first violin plays a 6-note melody with 3 pairs of notes, E and D, A and B flat, G flat and F. In the music that immediately follows, each of those pairs is assigned to one of the other 3 instruments. Here is a relationship Babbitt calls intervallic preparation and association. Babbitt notes how often the interval of the perfect fourth is attacked simultaneously by some pair of instruments. He claims that these associated perfect fourths prepare the perfect fourth between the first notes of I2 and P9, the second combinatorial pair. The way Schoenberg has set things up, the first notes of the combinatorially related P and I forms will always be a perfect fourth apart. That's why Babbitt says that that perfect fourth is predefined. Perfect fourth. Another perfect fourth. Another perfect fourth. And here's the predefined perfect fourth. Babbitt is interested in other notes occurring in proximity to his perfect fourths. Here, the GC perfect fourth has a note a semitone below its upper note. And so does the BE perfect fourth a moment later. The perfect fourths may also attract a nearby note that is a whole tone away. E and A appear together with G flat, and A and D, that predefined perfect fourth, appears with C. Babbitt refers to relationships like this as associative harmony. Babbitt is also interested in motivic links that span across the series forms. In P0, the third through fifth notes go +1, +7. The last three notes of P0 do the opposite, the inversion, -1, -7. Then, as P0 ends and RI5 begins, we get two more forms of the same motive now enchained, FEA, then E, A flat, and then A flat, D. FEA, -1, -7, overlap with -7, -1, overlap with -1, -7. All of these intervallic and motivic connections occur in the context of the basic 12-tone design, which enables and shapes them. Babbitt is interested in the formation of aggregates, unordered collections of the 12 pitch classes. When these occur between parts, he calls them aggregates. When they occur melodically within a part, he calls them secondary sets. The initial statement of P0 consists of H1 and H2. RI5 then starts with H1, so we get an aggregate that consists of the last 6 notes of P0 and the first 6 notes of RI5. In the first violin part, we hear H2 within RI5 and then H1 within R0. That's a secondary set. Meanwhile, H1 in RI5 forms an aggregate with H2 in R0. At the end of the passage, we get two new series forms, I2 and P9. Because they are in the same combinatorial relationship as P0 and I5, we get aggregates between the series forms. The first 6 notes of I2 together with the first 6 notes of P9 make an aggregate. So do the last 6 notes of I2 and the last 6 notes of P9.